Finn Wittrock is going to be the lead role. He's not going to play Hal Jordan. He's just going to be playing a new character. Well, not really a new character either, but Guy Gardner. So we'll see how that goes. Are you excited for getting a little bit of Green Lantern finally in live
Uh,
action?
yeah. I always liked Green Lantern. I think my Green Lantern is Kyle Rayner, but um, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see. The casting, I won't say excites me for the show itself, but I am intrigued because the guy is a good actor. I think it's just gonna be interesting to see him in a role that isn't being a weirdo or like a crazy guy. So, or maybe he will be in the show. Who knows? But I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I guess it takes place. The story spans decades and galaxies, beginning on Earth in 1941 with the very first Green Lantern, secretly gay FBI agent Alan Scott, in 1984 with cocky alpha male Gardner and half alien Bree Jarta. They'll be joined by a multitude of other lanterns from comic book favorites to never before seen heroes. Hmm. I thought Hal Jordan was the only Green Lantern on Earth, but I guess I was wrong. I don't know the history as much as I do, as I thought I did. All right,
it's
interesting.
pretty pretty expensive history.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh
but
well, I mean,
it is.
I'll watch it. It's free.
Yeah, that's just, yeah, that's keyword right there.
I still gotta watch Titans.
So,
That's the thing
oh,
with that too. I gotta watch Titans. Is this gonna fit in
yeah,
the DC universe, extended universe? Is it not? I don't know. This is exhausting. DC's exhausting. Like,
yeah,
like I don't know. I'll watch
yeah,
it. Let's move on.
yeah. They're all over the place. Who knows anymore?
Just give me the
um,
Batman, and I'll be fine. And then I'll realize if I want to stick with this or not.
yeah, that's probably the best plan. Let's see here. I got two more pieces of news, both video game related. First one, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 arriving on Nintendo Switch this June, more specifically June 25th. Um, Definitely brings back some memories with Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Uh, I think 1 is one of my favorites, and then oh, I want to say it was like World Tour or something where like it was like Bam Margera is in the video game, the break up the two teams.
I think
That was
so.
yeah, that was like one of my favorite games for a long time. So yeah, it's kind of good to get these back in Switch form as well, especially if you have kids that can never get the TV to yourself. It's have a nice little Switch to play it on, which is pretty powerful. I think it's good for all video game nerds out there.
I haven't heard this. I wonder if the graphics are going to be about the same like how it is on PlayStation and Xbox with that. So it's cool. It's just a re-release of another game, and um, I mean, I have fun with it. I'm not going to go out and buy it, but I know a lot of people did. I remember, at least on the Game Boy version, there was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I would always try to put in the code for Spider-Man. I remember that. But other than that, I mean, I played it here and there, but I mean, memories behind it. Is it like a Guitar Hero for me? I don't think so, but
Mhm.
it was a pretty easy game to pick up. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah, it is for sure. I think it's one of the easier skateboarding games in general. Just jump in there, start doing tricks. And
Yep. Okay. My second piece of news, and unfortunately, this is my last one, but it's a pretty big one that got me excited today. Dragon Ball Super rocks the internet with official news uh, of a new movie announcement. So it looks like we're going to get a new movie in 2022. It's going to be original story.
okay,
This is coming from multiple spots. I've gotten this from comicbook.com. Um, Nothing much gets into it. Just the new movies coming out. And if anything, I think it's more of a still of a rumor Um,
Mhm.
oh no, never mind. No, soon over. They announced a new movie coming out. So yeah, we'll see. I saw Broly in the theaters, which
Yeah,
was pretty darn cool. Um,
yeah.
um, so I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it, especially with the success of what's the anime that's out in theaters right now that's pretty big? Demon something.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer. Yeah, I think this is just prime time for this now, and maybe we'll get some more in the movie theaters.
Yeah, yeah. That Super Broly movie I thought was just absolutely outstanding. Um, it brought back memories. It gave me some new stuff. It made me feel old things, and the action in there was, woof, that thing was awesome to watch live on
Yeah,
the big screen. So, and I'm assuming with the next film, just like Broly, the budget would be pretty big, or at least big enough where those action scenes can still look awe-inspiring. So, I'm very
I
excited.
would imagine it's bigger. I would imagine it would be bigger this time around
Yeah, I would think so.
because it had success. So I would imagine that's going to be a little bit bigger. So that's going to even be better.
Yeah, so that is really cool news. I'm very excited for that.
Do you read the manga, the manga? You read the manga of Dragon Ball?
I read up to a certain point after where the show ends, so kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because apparently that's getting pretty huge, which is kind of cool. So we'll see where it goes. There's a lot of story being told now.
Yeah, there's pretty well again, I haven't kind of continued with it recently, but there was a really cool bad guy, some cool story arc stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. And there's been talks that they'll continue that in the TV show form, probably not for another couple of years or so, but that would be exciting.
Yeah, and then you got a piece of news, another one.
Oh, not again.
You're there.
Okay. No. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Um, should we, assuming I think we cut off, I think I can pick up from there. Um, very interesting. To see what's gonna happen with Dragon Ball next continuously, especially after the manga continues. I know they want to bring that to the TV format as well. So Dragon Ball, I think, in my opinion, gets better as it keeps going on and going on. Visually, storytelling wise, a little bit. Yeah. So more Dragon Ball is always a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. You got another piece of news?
Oh yeah, last one real quick. It's none too in depth. Mass Effect Legacy Edition will let you use the original Mako controls for those who are masochists, weirdos that like to pour their milk first before they put the cereal in the bowl. Um, the Mako was a handled like a piece of like a garbage can. It was garbage. I don't know why people would want to do that, but good on them for making an option to play as
What is Mako?
the Mako. So you would travel sometimes on planets looking for resources or get from point A to point B in a mission, and it's like a all-terrain vehicle with a cannon on it, and the controls were just awful, even for like an early 360 console game. The controls were trash. Um, don't know. They're fixing them with the Legacy Edition, but again, you have that option to play with the old controls. So I don't like it, but I don't know if you ever played the first one. Um,
Years back,
but
man. I
yeah,
barely remember
yeah,
that. It was kind of hard to control. So it wasn't
Yeah,
impossible.
it
Uh,
wasn't impossible, but it wasn't enjoyable either.
no, I barely remember. I can't really go into it.
Yeah, so I think that kind of sums up that thing right there. It's terrible at best, and at worst, it's just not even worth thinking about. So hopefully the new controllers are fixed a little bit. So that's it for my news.
All right.
Um,
Maybe we should just go into our
if
nerd outs then.
yeah. Since I got one, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think it was this week that the new documentary Sasquatch was released on Hulu. Um, it's a three-part mini series. Yeah, about every episode is about 45 minutes. It's about this investigative reporter talking about, oh yeah, man, I've done all these dangerous things. I've worked with like neo-Nazis and the KKK to get these stories. I've worked with drug dealers, and he was actually working on a pot farm in North California when this tweaker guy comes rushing in the cabin going, yo, this Sasquatch just killed three people, man. And he was convinced for many years that this was a real story. So this follows not only his investigation, trying to find out if this story was actually true or holds some kind of weight to it. It also talks about how like North California builds this like in the woods were just like a crazy time in the 70s and 80s where people were growing pot, and it went from like hippies growing farms to like people coming in and like people walking around with like rifles in their hands, setting up booby traps, and it just became like this really big thing. And then the government came in and they pretty much like invaded North California. Just they found this house that was going to be selling weed. Let's just go in there. We don't have to ask questions. Take it and leave. It was a crazy time. Um,
So it's only about
and,
that one time, that like that time period.
yeah, they kind of touch upon modern day stuff, but it's more like back in the heydays of this was like the late 80s, early 90s. And it was pretty interesting because I didn't know anything about this. I don't know if this is like Murder Mountain or if that's somewhere else, like in the northwest region of the world or the United States, not the world. Jesus. Um, I know like Murder Mountain was like all about pot and like it was just like a killing field up there. So maybe that is in California, maybe not, but it was a really interesting story. Um, and the twist at the end is kind of ironic. It's funny, but not like in a comedy way, but like in a tragedy way. So it was pretty decent documentary. I think a lot of people from the trailer will think like, oh, this is just a joke documentary, or it's just a bunch of guys going out there in the woods trying to find Sasquatches, but it's more than that. I think it is worth a watch. It's pretty good. I was thoroughly surprised with it.
All right. All right. Um, what would you rate it?
I'd give it a 7.2 out of 10.
Okay, so it's watchable.
Yeah, it did not waste my time, and I was I was entertained by it. So I think
What
it's
kind
worth
of
a
fan
watch.
do you have to be? Do you have to be like a Bigfoot fan more, or like a true crime fan? Like which one do you
Uh,
think you have to fall into for it to really make an impact and you watch all three?
I would say true crime.
Okay.
The Sasquatch thing is more of like a I don't want to say it's an afterthought in the show, but okay. So like the first episode focused more on Sasquatch. The second episode is more the history of the pot in North California, and then the third episode kind of ties it all in a nice little bow and gift for you.
Okay.
So it's pretty well balanced, but I think it leans more towards true crime than anything else.
Okay. Cool. And you said that was your only piece of nerd out?
Yeah, I didn't really have much time to do anything this week, so
Okay. Cool. My nerd out. Like I said, I finally was able to carve out some time and play a little bit of video games. Uh, the week before, I think I played a little bit with Frank as well. Whenever the Call of Duty um, Cold War dropped, and then this week, some time freed up. I'm like, you know what? I really want to play Returnal, which is a new PS5 exclusive. Um, I know Frank hasn't played it yet because he doesn't want to. My neighbor has, and he likes that. He likes the game, and we were talking about it a little bit. So I'm gonna borrow it from him when he's done.
Nice.
But the thing is, I also have a backlog, so I have to. I want to at least finish Zero Dawn, which I have finally started playing. Didn't get far. I just finished playing her as a little girl, and she found everything. And I can't really take much from the game. Yeah, I can't take much. The animation looks good. I'm hoping that it goes more into the story and how the animals became, or how they became like robots and stuff like that. It's just interesting seeing that there was a normal world and then this happened. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of buckle in for the ride and see what happens with it. But so far, so good. Pretty decent. I'm just hoping the story kind of holds and everything that I've read that it does. So yeah, that was really fun playing. Like at least giving some time. And I played a little bit of Call of Duty too, but not too much. Like we went. I think Frank and I really went on like a streak of 3 nights in a row or something like that, and it just kind of fell off after that.
Sure, that happens a lot. It's good, man.
Oh, and then Violet and I watched something. Scarface ended up on Netflix again, and
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of that. I didn't finish it though.
Yeah.
Um, I'm thinking about maybe picking up Cruel Summer, which is a Hulu slash Freeform TV show. Have you heard about it?
It's actually on my queue. I was like, oh, that sounds like an interesting thing. I might check it out.
Yeah,
So I'm aware of it.
yeah. I don't know when I'm gonna pick it up. If I am gonna pick it up, Viola wants me
Yeah.
to pick it up, and then our neighbors have picked it up too. So that's gonna be on the list of sorts.
Yeah. Nice, man. Did you get a chance to play anything else, or that's kind of
That's
it?
I played a little bit of MLB The Show. I bought that. I
Mhm.
just bought the regular edition.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's really it, man. I didn't really play too much. I played, but the little time I got, I was happy with. But I could have played more.
I got you. Well, that's
Yep.
good, man. Gotta squeeze in some time for some kind of fun every now and then.
Yeah.
Sound like a pretty standard week for everyone around here. Pretty straightforward. So not too much exciting stuff on a nerd out end, but there was some good news. This week was Star Wars Day, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And Disney and Star Wars decided to drop episode 1 of the Bad Batch on May 4th, along with the second episode, the Friday, I think was the 6th, I believe.
The seventh.
Um, 7th. Yeah,
I
what was it today?
I didn't
Oh, yeah.
expect we were gonna get this new episode on the seventh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, cool, nice. That was a nice little treat.
Yeah, it was a nice little surprise with that. Did you buy anything for May the 4th or anything like that?
Uh,
I feel like you're not a Star Wars fan, so you probably didn't.
no, I didn't. I don't even know what I would buy. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Star Wars stuff is either way too damn expensive or is something for children. So I'm like, I'm not gonna buy Legos because that's just expensive. I don't have the money for a lightsaber. Well, I could, but I don't really need a lightsaber in my life. I would just break shit in my house, just walk around all just. That wouldn't be a good
Talking about
idea.
lightsabers, they announced or they finally revealed their version of a real lifesaver where actually detracts and um, retracts and all that. So um, I wonder how much. And then they also gave a little more details on the hotel that's opening up, I believe, in Florida, where there's zero windows,
Hmm.
and it's almost like a Westworld kind of thing, where you're
Oh.
just completely immersed on it. So I thought that was really cool. I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. It's a 3 night event slash vacation thing. So,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, uh, depending on the details of it, that might be something I would be considered doing. That is kind of cool. Um, and trying to think if there's anything else that came out news wise for the fourth. Um,
now no movie news or anything like that.
no.
Disney Plus got a couple new episodes or a couple new shows. We already talked about Bad Batch, but there's also another interesting one where it's just landscapes and it's just like flying over landscapes, and then down below is kind of like little scenes from Star Wars happening. So it's like
Hmm.
the world of Star Wars, and you're just kind of flying over it. Kind of interesting. There's nothing else to it. I think it's like a 18-minute thing or 20-minute thing.
Hmm.
And I think it's just to have in the background. That's really it. But I thought it
Yeah.
was kind of interesting with that. But not no TV news or anything like that that I've seen. But yeah.
Yeah, that was mainly it. So, you want to do spoiler talks of the Bad Batch, or do you want
We
to be
I
Vegas?
think we could I think we could do a little. And I don't know. I guess we could do spoiler talks. We could always just do spoiler talks.
Okay.
Super short
Well,
episode, but we're also cut short on a nerd. How long have the episodes been without us or without me or anything like that? Have they been still like 30 minutes, 20 minutes?
I can give me a second. I can tell you in a few seconds. Um, I want to feel like it was maybe under an hour, but I could be wrong because I tend to ramble on about shit sometimes. And we were talking about Invincible last week, and I know I think that was the majority of the show for us. Let's see
Okay.
here. The
Oh, just
nerds.
wondering.
Yeah, I was always curious too, and I never really paid attention to the length until we go, oh wow, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. We should probably stop. Man, slow as shit. Well, while I post the
Well,
talks for the Bad Batch, if you guys wish to stick around again at your own risk. If you haven't watched the first two episodes, if you haven't stopped, leave, watch them, come back, and then you can join us in a little conversation. So, give you five
all
seconds.
right. Three,
Five, four,
two.
three, two, one. I think we're good now. Alrighty. So, the Bad Batch. I was actually really surprised that they got their own standalone show right off the back, coming off the last season of the Clone Wars. Um, General thoughts, real quick. What do you think of the first two episodes?
They're good. I was surprised the first episode was an hour and 20 minutes, I think. So I was super surprised about that. The other
Yeah.
episode, just kind of getting from point A to point B, it was kind of cool revisiting characters and also mentioning some reoccurring characters. So that's always good. I just wonder where it's kind of going, what's the whole point of the show. But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the first one was really good. Second episode, solid. It they definitely kind of well, I guess before you start getting some minor details, um the first episode actually takes place like right when Order 66 starts to go into effect.
Yeah,
And
just about to.
we actually and we learned the semi origins of I don't know if he's a beloved character, I believe he is, but a very liked character, I think, from Rebels. What is his name? Manny.
Kanan.
Yes. Yes.
Which I
So
didn't know
they
that was
actually,
Kanan.
yeah. If I'm correct, I think they take it straight from the comic. I think it's like Star Wars: The Last Padawan storyline in the comics. It's
Okay.
it's the exact same story, except they kind of retcon it a little bit. They made the Bad Batch part of that backstory, so that we go off with that where Kanan is a child, goes by a different name. He changes his name
Caleb.
later,
Caleb.
obviously, to hide from people trying to shoot him in the face. What is it? The inhibitor chips in their head because I believe they don't have them. Except for one.
Who?
We come to find out that
No, they all have them.
Cross.
They all have them.
Yeah, okay, they all have them. Okay.
They all,
Um,
cause they're regular clones. It's just the other clones aren't getting it. Like I guess they're too not mutated, but I forgot how they call themselves. But yeah,
well,
they're in there, or maybe like, man, what were the? Keep talking. I forgot what planet they're made on. Kimono? No.
yeah, no, it's not Kimon, but it's close to that though. And yeah, yeah, I'm so bad with names. But yeah, so okay, so they do have the inhibitor chips, but we do know that they were genetically altered to be different than a
Yeah.
normal clone. And we've seen that throughout the Clone Wars show, where like
Camino.
natural Camino, there you go. We know that clones, a lot of them have these defects in them where like Rex's hair is blonde and some certain clones have like blue eyes or green eyes and they have little like pigments in their skins a little bit different. But as a whole, the clones are all pretty universal. But the Bad Batch is actually part of an experiment to make super clones, I guess, and like super enhanced and hearing and strength and intelligence, all that kind of stuff. So we're not too familiar on why. Majority of the Bad Batch are not affected by the inhibitor chips like the rest of the clones are, with the exception of Crosshair, who seems to his chip seems to be working just fine.
Well, it wasn't working
And
100%, right? It's Tarkin who like puts it on full blast to get him pushed over to the edge.
um, I don't think that's true because when the order goes out, Crosshair does shoot at the Padawan, and he's like, "We gotta kill him." That's
But
the
but he's
order,
he's
and
he's also not going completely against Hunter. Like the other guys, if you said that to a regular trooper, they'll kill
sure.
you. He's not doing that. He's not he doesn't look like he's fighting it, but he's fighting it because even Omega, the little girl clone, she's like, I
Mm.
know what you're doing. It's not your fault, and I know that. And he kind of looked at her like, yeah, my mind is not working with what I want to do. And then that's why Tarkin puts him in that room and really starts building up the chip. Like he really overpowers the chip, so he can really just push him over. That's what I got from it.
Mm. Yeah, I from what I saw was that's probably part of it, but he is he seems to very dedicated to what he does, and he's dedicated like he's part of the Bad Batch, but he's dedicated to the cause. He's very much like you guys didn't follow orders, like we gotta do, and if I gotta take you out, I gotta take you out, plain and simple.
But that
Because
only that only happened when Tarkin took him under. He always kept giving Hunter like a run for his money, but he never fully said, "All right, now you got to stop it, or I'm going to kill you." But he always
well,
kind of hinted
well,
at, but he just never went through with it. That was only
well,
when
yeah,
Tarkin took him under.
well, I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that like, yeah, they boosted the signal chip, but that was they basically enhanced what was already there.
Yeah,
So I guess that I guess that's what I was trying to say with Crosshair, and then they actually Tech actually goes, hey. Echo, the reason why you might not be affected is because you're more robot than you are clone, and that's probably why he wasn't affected either. Because if again, there's a lot of history behind these characters before we even get to this series. Um, he gets blown up, gets captured, rebuilt, and then he joins the Bad Batch after he's proven that he's really good at what he does. And then we find out that again, like this Omega, like you brought earlier, she, as far as I'm aware, is the only female clone of Django that I'm
Yeah.
aware of. And where's a whole backstory yet we have to reveal about her. Um, and again,
Especially
like
in the
this,
second episode, I'm getting a lot of Grogu Dinjarin vibes. And I
yeah.
was like, oh no, we're retelling a story.
I mean, I don't know if this is intentional by George Lucas in general, but the whole father son dynamic basically drives the whole world of Star Wars in some way, shape, or form, or like parent and child, from Anakin and his Padawan to Obi Wan, and Anakin and Obi Wan, and Qui Gon Jinn, uh, Luke and Darth Vader, and Grogu, and his quasi father. It's a really specific thing that happens throughout Star Wars a lot. It's like parents and child, or father and son. Not sure what all that about is, but yeah, episode two, it definitely leans heavily on that, and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. If it's not broke, don't fix it, I guess. Um,
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't want to get fatigued with the story because
yeah,
it felt like not so much leaving Grogu there, but then Omega was gonna go with uh who was the
cut
dessert? What was his name?
cut Larson or cut Clark or
Okay,
something. His first name's
well,
Cut. Uh,
okay, well the deserter there.
yeah.
So I that was interesting to me. When do you remember when the deserters showed up in the original Clone Wars?
Woo. Uh, shit.
Was it
Season
was it
season.
what season?
I think it was season three. I want to say season three.
Woo,
Um,
really?
I could be wrong, but I know that obviously he is a context for Rex as well. And
Mention Rex.
and it's also funny as well. I mean, as far as we know, the deserter wasn't affected by the Order 66 being put out either. And as far as we know, he's not defective like that. We don't know why he never seemed to have the urge to go out and go like, I should go kill a Jedi. He just likes chilling on his farm with his wife and his two kids, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't know if it's a theory or if they brought it up, but it is possible that maybe he's so far away from, I guess, the home base of where the orders go out that the chip doesn't really matter, or he might have hit his head, doesn't work anymore. Um, because they do bring up Rex as well. He's talking about the inhibitor chips, and that's when the Bad Batch learned about the chips because they didn't know that they had them in their head. Tech kind of assumed and kind of knew, but he didn't tell the rest of the group. Um, I will say the action's still pretty good. I like the training simulation thing, and were those like prototypes for the Death Troopers for Moff Gideon that we see in Mandalorian? Because I feel
And
like
what
they were like
and what
or,
part and which one?
episode one when they were being tested by Tarkin. They're like, I want to see what this group can do,
Oh,
and I was like,
yeah, maybe.
they look kind of familiar.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
they were really hard to beat, and they kind of moved and looked like them, except they weren't quite as black and shiny yet.
Yeah, that's a
and
good catch, man.
and and you know what? I also see that they kind of explain was it the thing that Boba Fett had in his suit. He's like, here's like the history of my suit and my family.
Yeah.
What is it? Chain
Yep.
like
Chain code.
chain code. Yes. So chain code has been at least in effect in Star Wars for at least 30 years now. Because this is like directly after Order 66, right? Well, shit. I mean, even more specifically, when
Probably
Grievous
60 years,
loses
man.
to, yeah. Oh, because trying to think here.
Because Luke is probably what 25, 30 years old when New Hope starts. This happens right when he's born. So, and then you go all the way back. Yeah, like 30. Yeah, okay, like 30 years.
Yeah, because I think I might be off by a couple of years, but I think in Mandalorian, Boba Fett said I've had this ship for like or he's had this code for like the past 25 years, and so I'm trying to go by Star Wars timeline. I'm like, so this has to be at least 30-ish years before that point.
Mhm.
So yeah, it gets really it gets complicated with the time and everything. But I really do appreciate these little things in here that ties in. Like it makes this world feel big, but also, I guess, not in a bad way, but like small. Where it's like, okay, cool, that's from here, that's from here, and this character shows up in this show and that show, and then it all kind of flows really well. I think for the most part, which I'm pretty, uh, which I am enjoying. Again, I've always been more a fan of the extended universe of Star Wars, so it's cool to see this kind of stuff actually come back into like canon, which is nice.
Yeah.
See here. Any other major things that happened throughout episode 1 and 2? I mean, so far the show's been pretty straightforward. We're reintroduced to the Bad Batch doing what they do. We learned that this show picks up like directly right after the battle between General Grievous and Obi-Wan. Grievous literally just loses, and then they get the order like maybe like 2 minutes later,
Something like that.
and,
Yep.
and we actually get to see the actual speech that Palpatine gives at the council in not Revenge of the Sith, not Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, you know what? I just realized that you're right. That's the speech he gives, and then so Anakin's just starting to like
Yeah,
destroy all the temples and all that. Oh, good catch.
yeah.
Good
I was
catch on
like,
that.
oh, like it's the actual
So
speech.
he's not Darth Vader yet.
No, not yet. He's
He's
not quite
not
there yet.
Darth Vader yet. Good catch. Man, I wonder if we're gonna get early Darth Vader. That'd be so cool
That would be cool.
if we get that.
Yeah, because I mean, I think so. As cool as he is in the original saga, and he has some cool moments in Rebels and all that kind of stuff in video games. Like so far, Rogue One has like the greatest scene of Darth Vader ever, and it'd be kind of cool to see more of him just being a badass. Um, but no, yeah, I mean, again, like timeline wise, it's fresh off of that. They don't have the new armor yet for the troopers. They're still using the
Yeah,
clone.
they're starting to explain why they've moved away from clone troopers to real troopers, and it's
Yeah,
really all comes down to the cost of money, right? Is that what you got?
yeah, yeah. It was like Tarkin flew out there. Was like, listen, I like we're putting a lot of money into this. We want to know if it's worth it. So I'm like, Jesus, yeah, it makes sense.
Personally, I think also they use money as like a cover, but I personally think they don't want their troopers at the hands of another maybe call out saying, "Hey, uh, turn against the empire now and take over the empire," because the people that make the clones maybe they have a different agenda. Then agenda it seems like they have a different agenda, so the emperor is trying to just get ahead of it
Yeah,
and just turn them off completely, and then turn into real people.
Yeah, because I
So
mean, we kind of see that playing out in the first episode at the end where the the Omega decides to join the Bad Batch on their escape, and we see I forget the name, but the engineers of the clones they actually let them take off and like we're not going to tell anyone about this just
yeah,
quite yet. We're not really sure what the purpose is, and there's already some shady stuff going on. So it's kind of interesting. It is really cool to kind of get these more backstory. I mean, it'd be very interesting if this is why they go away from clones is because of the Bad Batch and Rex and all those other clones that said, we're not gonna deal with the chip anymore. We're gonna be our own thing, and that's probably where the Empire goes. That's it. We're not gonna use clones anymore, and they have a mass genocide of just clones dead everywhere. Who knows? But
yeah.
it'd be kind of cool to see what happens next. So again, like I don't quite know what they're gonna do with the Bad Batch because again, there have been murmurs that they can actually make an appearance in live action form for Ahsoka or maybe even some other show that comes out because they were very popular at the end of the Clone
Season
Wars
seven.
season
Yeah.
7. Um, they were very popular out the back. I mean, so fast. I think like a year later, like, yeah, here's a brand new show. These guys just for you guys.
I think they already knew that they were going to build that and continue the stories and all that, and it just so happened that because Bad Batch was in like the first three episodes too. So I mean, it was kind of there. Like you kind of see that you saw that coming.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was a different group because like Echo
No,
came like because like, 'cause Echo
they
came from
saved Echo.
no right but like Echo was part of a special unit that wasn't the Bad Batch yet. They were shit. What were they?
Echo was caught a while back. He was caught from Rex's group.
No, right. But well, again, because for some reason they didn't tell the story in chronological order. Like, if you want to see it in order, you had to bounce around, like from this season to that season, this episode.
It stays within the season.
Is it? I
The
don't know.
stories, yeah, the stories stay within the season. They're just bounced around.
I got it. Well, anyways,
I just finished watching it, so I could say that with confidence. It stays within the season.
all right. Um, no, I'm liking the show so far overall. Um, is there anything you want to see from the show, or maybe some kind of tie-in, or you just kind of want to see where it's going to go from here?
No, I just want to. I really do want to see. I don't know why it interests me, but I just want to see the transition from uh, clones to real troopers, and I hope we get that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, that's one nice thing about the anime universe. I guess we would get to expand more these characters because, like, we don't really know what happens to Rex after the whole Order 66 and stuff. I think we have ideas, but like, there's a lot of time between then and the end of the first three films, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, well, part of it is touched with Rex, I guess. I remember correctly now. Yeah, never mind. I got a lot of things mixed up here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like when I finished season 7, I didn't go back and watch the whole series. I knew what went on and I watched it, and then I saw parts of Rebel. So there's a lot. Holy shit, there's a lot of Star Wars.
there
I don't know.
is.
Yeah, and it's not like Marvel where you just wait a couple years till next movie comes out. There's a lot of shit. But I'm liking it so far. I guess what I want on the show is just kind of where they fit in the grand scheme of things. Instead of just being, hey, this is a cool unit, and they run off, they do their own thing. I want to know what kind of impact they make on the world moving forward. So,
Yeah, what interactions they have, what main characters maybe, things like that. And I think we will get it, either in one season or two seasons. I think we will get it.
yeah, and then the live action stuff is supposed to tie in with some of this stuff. So, well, actually, it already has. So it's gonna be, like I said, I guess I want to see where they fit. because it's going to be interesting that they're going to have to CGI the Boba Fett character into like four people and make them look different, make it look natural.
If it's live action.
Yeah, if it's live action, or if they're just gonna have the helmets on the whole time. Um, that kind of that intrigues me. But we didn't really talk about episode 2 that much. I guess just for those listening to spoiler talks, just to feel left out. Some people I think might like episode 2. They go off to find the deserter clone. They ask him for help. Hey, how do you stay so low, or how do you stay out of the light of of being captured? And then that's when we learn about the chain codes and everything, and then they have to come up with a convoluted plan to get out of there and to get the deserter's family off planet. An action scene happens. Um, Omega and Hunter have a father-daughter moment, and that's kind of the episode in a nutshell. More more mysteries and ideas, and just kind of a episode of the week feel to it. Not too much to talk about. A lot of stuff came from the first episode that was really intriguing about it. So there you go. You're all caught up on the first 2 episodes. I believe this is 13 episode, or yeah, 13 episode season, correct?
I didn't look it up. Frank kind of thought it was going to be 13 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Oh, and to answer your
But I mean, unless you want to add anything, we'll leave it at that. And
Yeah.
then we'll see what hopefully we'll have the full nerds on next week, and Frank can kind of touch upon it and put his 2 cents on it.
Yeah. So to answer your question real quick before we sign off here. The last episode Frank and I did, it was an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. But so that's it for our spoiler talks. We enjoyed the series so far. More intrigued of the bigger picture, but it's holding our attention for sure. And we'll talk about episode 3 next week. Hopefully, like man said, all 3 of us will be on the show again. If you wish to listen to the audio portion of the podcast, you can go head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any podcasting app of your choice. You wish to watch the video portion of the podcast, head over to youtube.com, search 3 Nerds on a Sunday. If you want to be up to date when the episode drops, we drop episodes on Sunday. Times vary, but always on Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for those updates. And we have an Instagram. Haven't been active quite yet, but we're still figuring out little details what we want to do with it. But give us a follow over there. And that's it for now, guys. Thank you for listening to another episode of 3 Nerds on a Sunday. We will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.